Dear Music Store TV viewers, very welcome here in our shop in Cologne. Music Store, it's a beautiful day outside. You can't see it, unfortunately. I want to introduce you the Vice President of Sales of Presonus, Rick, coming from the US. I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the flight a bit.
Absolutely. A little long, but great beer here in Germany, so it's made up for it already.
It lifts up, right?
That's right.
So we want to talk about the philosophy, the ideas behind the company Presonus, because you invented in the last years so many incredible things, and you merged really studio applications with live applications, and you had in both worlds the knowledges, and that's really amazing, because normally we have the nerds of the recording stuff and then the PA techniques who don't have these knowledges of studios. But you merged that. Was that the first goal?
I think one thing about the whole concept of creating products that can be used in the recording world as well as live is that if you're a musician today, you need to be able to record your music and you need to be able to perform your music. And so, we have really just tried to hone in on how people work and how would be the most efficient way for them to work. And I think this really stems from the fact that, I would say 95% of our employees are musicians. We use the gear. We design the gear that we want to use ourselves. And so, the guy that started Presonus is a guy named Jim Odom. He's still our chief strategy officer and founder. And he got his start as a musician playing in a band that got signed to RCA Records and toured around. And then after he did that, he made a living as a recording engineer in Southern California. And then when he and his wife started to want to start a family, they moved back to Baton Rouge, and he finished a degree in computer science and electrical engineering, and he and a buddy from school started Presonus in 1995. And really, it was born from the desire to make tools that musicians can use to basically let technology make their life easier and not more complicated.
So much talented guy with so different interests created then the products for musicians. So products for musicians are so different also, because you need knowledges about woods for guitars, metal or whatever for poties. How does it feel?
That's right. Yeah, it's really it's important to us. When we design a product, we really are not thinking about competitors or what's hot or what's not. We're really trying to study the customer and study the musician and try to figure out what is going to make their workflow easier and better.
Sometimes your own attitude on stage, because you're all musicians at Presonus. So what do I need?
Oh, absolutely. And the funny thing about it is literally, like I remember many times being in conversations with, we sit around and we think about product ideas, and many times it's happened that we just turn to each other and say, well, I want one, let's make it, and really that's the thing is we've tried to design products, not really looking at the market, but looking at customers, and that's who we build these products for, is for musicians and for artists, producers,
And in your company you have employees who are drummers, guitar players, bass players, and we all know that a guitar player is not the same as a drummer is.
Yeah, that's right.
Different mentality.
Yeah. And that's very true. Musicians have they come in different. Here's the way we think about it, is that there's a certain technical expertise that a musician has to have, and then there is a creative side to being a musician. So left brain, right brain. What we have tried to do with everything from our hardware to our software is to try to allow a musician to do technical things, but while staying creative. That's the goal. So, for example, with Studio One, which is our recording software, this was a goal from the beginning. It was to create an experience that would allow a creative person to stay creative, because when you're creative, you get more done and you're more productive. And so, so wherever we could eliminate having to, go through menus or pull down, and same thing with the Studio Live desks, same philosophy. That's the reason that, there's not a bunch of menus and layers and stuff. Everything is on the surface of the board, because it keeps you in the creative mode when you're listening and mixing and creating music, and you're thinking about music instead of technical stuff.
So driving a car in a simple way.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's about.
Where can you see your company in the next few years? What's a vision of that? Because we know the interfaces, we got some here, as you can see, small, handy, but also many possibilities on it. Loudspeakers for studio monitors, mixers, digital mixers, PA loudspeakers now. What's the next step? Can you tell us about new visions?
We're going to continue to create products for musicians in the recording side as well as the live side. And like we talked about earlier, these things are merging now. And so, we want to create an ecosystem of products that a musician can use. And of course, we never want to be a closed system. So in other words, if you have a favorite piece of hardware, you will still be able to use it with our software. And similarly, if you own one of our pieces of hardware, you can use anybody's software with it. So we're never going to cut customers out from using other things, but we want the Presonus customer to have an advantage and have a workflow advantage. So we're going to continue to develop products. One thing that we're really getting into now is you're going to see some really cool iOS applications coming out from us very soon. I'd have to kill you, so I can't tell you. So
talk about your secrets, a new preamp, a new subwoofer, a new microphone, a Presonus microphone, a condenser, for example.
Yeah, well, I mean, the interesting thing is,
open your treasure chest.
Yeah, well, I will say this, that when we introduced Studio One back in 2010, it's now been 4 years, people thought we were crazy. Why would you want to enter into the DAW world with a new DAW? And then when we introduced the Studio Live, people thought we were crazy as well. And now we're entering loudspeakers and we have studio monitors. And so, anytime somebody says you're crazy, we look at that and say, great, let's do it. So we consider it a challenge. But here's the thing: musicians want tools, and they want better tools. And so that's our goal, is to create better tools. And so, all of this stuff is pointless without the creative musician driving it. We were just talking about that the only thing that separates, a beginner from a pro now is what's coming out from behind that microphone. I mean, both people can plug into this thing, and if you have the talent and the creativity, you can make it happen. So in other words, the gear is not the limiting factor anymore. But we definitely want to continue in the categories, and we're going to be entering some new categories. But the whole idea of hardware and software integration is very important to us, because software by itself is fine, but when you have hardware and software that really work well together, you have a very powerful combination. So that's what we're going to try to do.
So to get better and better, so we can end now this interview with this nice word from your side. Very happy that you were here. Thank you very much. Now we'll take another beer.
Yes, the German beer is quite good. So
and the Presonus products are also good as German beer. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.